नमस्ते डियर उनोकॉइनर्स, एक बार फिर हम सारे यहाँ पे वापस आपके लिए आके एक बहुत ही अमेजिंग चीज पर आज का एयर में लेकर आए हैं और वो है BRC20 टोकन्स, जिसकी हाइप के बारे में मुझे आपको बताने की जरूरत नहीं है। पिछले कुछ दिनों से ट्विटर पे सारे सोशल मीडिया चैनल्स जहाँ पे बिटकॉइन क्रिप्टो की बात होती रहती है, वहां पे इससे रिलेटेड कॉन्वर्सेशंस ने पूरे चैट पूरे फीड को फ्लड करके रखा हुआ है। तो अब हम स्टार्ट करने वाले इस चीज को लेकर के बहुत ही अच्छा सेशन। हम आपको इसके बारे में बताएंगे, E to Z चीज है। इसके बीच में अगर आपके कुछ सवाल हैं, if you have any questions, you can drop them below in the comment section and I'll forward them to our subject matter expert for today. And now time to introduce myself. You already know me, I think. So my name is Shambhavi Soni. I'll be your host for today's AMA, and our subject matter expert is someone who is a big time, I would say, a specialist in the field of crypto. Mr.
Yeah, I hope so.
Mr. Sathvik Vishwanath, the CEO of Unocoin, your favorite crypto exchange. So, starting right off, Sathvik talking about BRC20 tokens, the hype they have created, I'm really curious. What are they?
I think before we talk about BRC20, let's talk about, let's say, initially we had Bitcoin, right?
Yes.
And there are quite a few other coins which are very similar to Bitcoin. And the next big thing technologically that people saw was Ether,
Yes.
right? So Ether got in a lot of new things to table, including ability to write smart contracts, ability to launch tokens, then NFTs. And using all of this, you are able to create decentralized exchanges, decentralized the finances, DeFi,
Yeah.
and NFT. So they could actually do a lot of things, right? So it was like initially just transfer of value that Bitcoin supported. And then Ether also did the same, but they had a lot of other things that could be added as a part of the protocol itself, and it became a comparatively more like a programming language. So this became like money, and it became like a programming language. So as time goes on, in this particular around January 2023 or so, this idea has been floating around since forever. A lot of people who are kind of Bitcoin maximalists believe that all other protocols are more like experimental. It's like laboratories, and if something is successful, and if it is really that successful and important, that will come to Bitcoin as well. And so many people believe that the Bitcoin as a protocol is so widespread that it is too tough to update it. Okay, so we had both sides, the people on both sides of this argument. But anyway, so nothing we saw much different since last many years when it comes to Bitcoin, right? So, but however, in this particular year, Bitcoin Ordinals protocol was introduced. So that allowed people to inscribe or write something related to every Satoshi, which is the smallest unit of Bitcoin, right, in a specific transaction. So before this, one Satoshi is equal to another Satoshi, right? So there is no difference in specific. It's just like fungibility was absolutely there. But now what's happening, because of this particular protocol, we can say, okay, this particular Satoshi is now with Sathvik, and it'll go wherever it goes, it'll associate that name with that, right? So now when you have that Satoshi as one and another normal Satoshi, both are not same.
Yes.
It is like, say, giving an autograph and a note.
On 100 rupees.
So not, yeah. So then it is not same, right? So it has more, we cannot talk about more value, less value. I should say more only because it's at least 100 rupees. And this can only add more value to it, right? So in this way, people, I mean, it's programmers, after breaking their brains, have figured out that we can use the same ordinals, the protocol, which can enable every Satoshi to be inscribed with some information. We can use that as a, to create something like ERC20, but on Bitcoin chain.
But on Bitcoin.
So now we have BRC20. It was created by a programmer called Domo, right? So he had put up this particular idea and he has developed this particular concept. So we don't have the full flexibility of ERC20 with this yet, but you can create a token, you can mint it, you can transfer it, right? So some limited functionalities are possible. Again, that happens through a comparatively elaborate process of doing these things on every Satoshis, and putting that as one transaction and sending it.
True.
So yeah, so we have BRC20 now, which is like tokens on top of Bitcoin chain.
So it is safe to say that BRC20 is Bitcoin's version of ERC20 in a way.
To some extent, yeah, with limited features. Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Okay, so Sathvik, we already have so many comments coming in. We have comments saying hi, University here. I find this particular user very unique because we also have a thing called University. And then we have Crypto Pe Charcha saying hi. So both of them are saying hi in the comment
Hello.
section. Next, Satvik, if we talk about the whole process of how this thing works, then would it be similar to ERC20 tokens or would it be different or how does it work practically?
See, the way in which you interact is quite different, but for a common man, I would not see how it matters, right? So I don't think you wrote scripts or programs to send ERC20. You just use a wallet, right?
Yes.
So wallet that is capable of doing it. So the learning curve and whatever is that, trouble things to be done. So that is completely transferred to the well-known programmers. So whoever can do this. At the end, you will still see a same send button. So what happens behind the scenes, you would not know. But when it comes to, I mean, if you want to go a little bit deeper and try to understand, I have not seen or tried doing anything with BRC20 myself, but the whatever I have read, and including some of the comments from the programmers, they say it's comparatively complicated than ERC20 because BRC20 is not a protocol that was built native directly on top of Bitcoin blockchain. So what we created was, I mean, what was approved and got merged was Ordinals protocol. Okay, so that creates that one that was done because to enable something like NFTs. So it is like using some part of the program on the Ethereum blockchain that we created, we were able to create through NFTs, but launching ERC20 using that. So that's what happened here on the blockchain, Bitcoin blockchain, right? So it is not straightforward. So due to which it is complicated, compared to a little bit more complicated than normal. But at the end, that complexity gets absorbed by the wallet creators, and people should still be able to send and receive just like anything else.
True. So, Satvik, if we talk about the basic differences, like you said, those things won't matter for a common man. But the things that matter for common man in those terms, what are the key differences between BRC20 and ERC20?
um, I don't think. See, a common man would not have a lot to do when it comes to technical challenges and technical incapabilities. So when ES20 was released, and I mean, various things we tried to do using smart contracts on Ethereum, a lot of them there was some kind of loopholes or some exploits that people could do or some other hacker could do, take away some crypto or block it so that no one can access. So all of those things have happened. Uh, so I mean, like, what could a common man do? Nothing much, right? So he can only see that, okay, 10 people are trusting, even I want to trust. So it was kind of, that is a kind of thing, right? But when it comes to BRC20, we have to understand that it is even super new in nature. So ERC20, we have it since like what, 7 years already, I'm guessing. This is not even since 7 months, right? And to store the information by using this inscription methodology, and when it comes to using it as BRC20, it will actually create a lot of lot of data, information.
True.
And the way it works, the Ordinal protocol works, all of that information has to go on the actual blockchain itself. It's not like a specific link will go, and that link will have the image or rest of the PDF book or whatever. It's not like that anymore. So that could actually make the Bitcoin network itself a little less efficient, right? So which is actually not just bad for these tokens, but could also be a little bit bad for Bitcoin network as a whole. Or let's say challenging for time being, if not a direct threat, I guess. And because it is new in nature, what are the different types of exploits? We don't know. We definitely are looking forward for it. I mean, that's exactly what has happened with Ethereum blockchain as well, and it's extremely unlikely there were no exploits at all.
True.
Okay, so when that happens, again, common man has nothing much to do, but he should understand that because he's trusting such a new protocol at once altogether, um, he is not only taking market risk, he's also taking technical risk. So
True.
where things could actually go wrong and still lose the money. Market risk, yeah, it's comparatively, you may not lose all money at one shot, right? So, but when it comes to technical risk, it could just get drained like this. It becomes zero. So we don't know. There are some unknowns. There is definitely uncertainties. So people should be completely aware that they are put whatever they want to do it like an experiment. Be prepared if the experiment does not work. If you want to actually trust trust to some extent, to reasonable extent, then you should only be doing maybe after 6 months or 9 months. After it gets more patches and issues gets identified, the people actually sorts it out and developers and merges it. So it is not the time to completely rely on that protocol. Yeah.
Agreed. So there's a question, I think follow-up question somebody asked, but it was before I asked this question. So this person, Crypto Pe Charcha, is asking, is this true BRC20 cannot be rug pulled? Recently, a coin named BTSP rug pulled, developers left, and the price dropped.
No, I cannot see how it cannot be rug pulled,
Yeah.
because it depends upon the mindset of the developers and community of the developers. That's just pretty much it. I think that's pretty much it. So, what can, how can a technology stop? Right. So it is not like an intelligence technology to identify what the developers is trying to do. So what is still not so easily possible? I mean, it's nothing specific to BRC20, but generally speaking, where I actually see, the issue of rug pull happens is when there is too much of control from the developer on the entire ecosystem, and the developer at one point of time may start thinking that, okay, my token is worth so and so, the individual token, and I have so much of X amount of tokens, but there isn't really kind of any kind of smart contract vesting or anything like that. So selling this could be the best thing I could do in life. It is still wrong, but it's one time I have to do it wrong to get away with this, and let's see what will happen next, right? So and if there is some kind of smart contract that only releases X amount of tokens every every Y amount of time, then that so-called rug pull will not happen. But on the other side, even though when most of the coins, a lot of like significant amount of coins is with the developers, those speculators will continue to speculate and give it a high value, thinking that the development will continue and the developer can change his mind.
True.
So yeah, I cannot see how Ordinals protocol can stop it.
Yeah. And I also feel like it's more about the project when you're reading, when you're investing in a certain project, it's very necessary to understand all of these factors before putting any money in these projects. Because ultimately, it's the project owners, the stakeholders of the project who have a major stake in, any fall or any, I would say, any rug pull sort of thing when
Mhm.
it comes to a certain crypto project.
Yeah.
Next question we have is from Akash Kushwaha. Akash is asking, which app are you using for this broadcast? So, Akash, we are live on all the SM channels. You can watch us from, I think, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook as well. So, those are the 4 channels.
I,
Rest
th-
all
I
is
think
a,
the
yeah, I know. That's what I'm going to answer. So rest all is a secret for which you need to, find your own things. Next question is from Break Free Sathvik.
Mhm,
So I think it's more of a statement.
mhm,
Break Free saying BRC20 is not at all near to ARC20. It's altogether different. Now we
mhm.
have ORC20 and SRC20 also. No,
Yeah, maybe
uh,
on Solana blockchains and
yeah.
different blockchains. So they're figuring out what is presently possible and how you can utilize that to bring an equivalent of ERC20, right? So like I said, it's definitely not even like little close, or maybe
True.
it's only little close. That's all. It is capable of doing it, but that's pretty much it. It has its own challenges when it comes to BRC20, and we will actually see these kinds of have TRC20, which is on Tron,
Tron, yes.
right? So then we will have on Solana. So there's a lot of native blockchains can support this kind of tokens on top of it. So yeah, we can anticipate more and more such things, and maybe that will also reduce the number of transactions on a
Yes.
specific blockchain alone. Yeah, sure.
True. I think with BRC20, there's another thing that the hype created is because of the love for Bitcoin that the
Yeah.
community has.
Mhm.
And same did not happen for like our friend mentioned here, ORC20 and SRC20, because
Mhm.
I think the follow base for such tokens is comparatively less to Bitcoin since Bitcoin was the first one to the industry and everything.
Mhm. Sure.
But honestly, the hype was worth watching given so many tweets at one time and
Mhm.
on all the different media channels.
Sure.
Okay, moving forward, next question is from Aju George. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. He's asking how the Bitcoin community is taking up this with all the high gas fees due to BRC20. Many are saying that BRC20 is of no use at all. I guess this is some way tech evolve. This is some way tech evolves. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree that it is some way that tech evolves, and when it comes to the see, it is like on both sides, right? So either you have one really good, stable, proven protocol like Bitcoin, and just stick with that, and don't worry about anything else at all. Use it just for standard token transfer, like value transfer, and forget about it, right? So the second one is improve it to match a lot of other features on other protocols, right? So there is no right and wrong here, right? So on one side, I also believe that we did not really need a BRC20, right? So because the same thing can be achieved much more straightforward way using other other native protocols already, and now we are here wherever we are, right? So if some people wanted it and more miners agreed to it, it is kind of voting system, right? So if more than 51% of the miners agrees that okay, this is something that we can do, and they actually didn't really think of BRC20. They thought it is Ordinals protocol
Hmm.
using which Satoshi can be inscribed and it can be used like an NFT. Period. But now another guy comes and says that okay, if we can loop this and make every Satoshi and have its own value because of this blah 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 things, and eventually it becomes a lot of data, but still there is a possibility. And when that's what is happening now,
Yes.
right? So whatever we thought was a little different as a Bitcoiner, that what we will be able to achieve. Uh, I mean, like some programmers used their own method of understanding this and have launched BRC20
Yes.
on top of it. It is like saying, okay, fine, you have 100 rupees note, we can do the signature, then it will become valuable or it's different value altogether. Now, how about you do the signature for 1 million notes? Same signature. So it is not 100 rupees anymore. It is 100 rupees plus signature anyway. But all of those 1 million of them will have same value than normal other solutions, right? So now these 1 million can be transacted as well. So
Yes.
it's kind of that's how it has ended up with, due to which every particular token and its inscription, which is a data, is getting added to the Bitcoin blockchain, and that has actually made the blockchain to be a little inefficient because of number of transactions waiting to get confirmed on one side, and because people are competing or transactions are competing with each other to get confirmation on the blockchain, they are paying as much as like $25 or something like that sometimes just to get one transaction confirmed. So which is not a sustainable thing, right? So I mean, it doesn't look like it'll happen forever. Even in Ethereum blockchain, this issue was there in 2017, 18, and even in maybe 21 again. So yeah, the price significantly increases because everyone is competing to get their blockchain transaction on the blockchain confirmed. So that's what is happening here as well. Yeah, but now directly or indirectly, Bitcoin also supports tokens.
Yes.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. That's a really good thing.
Yeah.
Next question, Sathvik, we have from Anand Thakur.
Mhm.
Anand Thakur is asking, what is the purpose of BRC20? Is it required because it clogs the BTC network?
What is the purpose? Again, the purpose is, see, the amount of people or the community that is having the trust on Bitcoin is like humongous.
Humongous.
Yeah,
True.
it is nothing compared to Ethereum or Solana or Tron or anything like that. So, and the and when it comes to trust, right? So it depends upon the longevity of when you hold it, how long you hold it, and a lot of Bitcoiners, it's not even about the price of Bitcoin. It is the concept that makes them feel that position, right? But when it comes to a lot of other coins which are comparatively newer, so they see the graphs. Okay, the price goes up, they want to sell, else they want to buy, right? So it's more speculative in nature. So the mindset, I think, is different from very early Bitcoiners to what we have today, which are early Solana adopters, right? For example, or Tron adopters. So in that way, was it even required? It shouldn't have harmed, right? And that was the BRC20 was not even the intention to start with. BRC20 was just a one program on top of Ordinals, which was only meant to inscribe Satoshis to make it work like NFTs, nothing else, right? So we could have done without it, or else if this was like so desperately needed, maybe we should have done it in the proper way, not by using Ordinals, which was done for NFTs, and then creating, so much of tokens using that and like blotting the. And if you actually have done it right, maybe it would have been a much smaller data, and that just says this so many satoshis is so much. Like this is the exact reason for them, and whatever tokens it is, and just be done with it. There would have been much more better, I guess. So the way Ordinals got done, good, but it got used to BRC20, it's bad.
True. I think a very interesting question and even more interesting answer, I would say.
Sure.
Next, Crypto Pe Charcha, our friend here is asking, is Sathvik bullish on BRC20? And what are his favorite coins, if any? So that's a very personalized question. So Crypto Pe Charcha, since your name is Crypto Pe Charcha, I'm sure you know DYOR, do your own research, but I think Sathvik will answer this in his own way.
Yeah, see, I am not bearish. That's first thing. Am I bullish? May not be that as well. I'm more for time being neutral in nature, I guess. But when it comes to tokens, etc., I actually don't perform a lot of research myself because I don't buy it myself, right? But however, with my limited knowledge, I keep hearing about this RD protocol, right? I mean, RD, the tokens, and that alone, I think, is has about 70% of market cap or something like that, right? So, and close to about 200 million or so in market cap, and every token is worth about $8-10. So I keep hearing that to be because that is like the first one, like it's about Ordinals upgrade as well, etc. It's like one thing, and now eventually you almost will get lot of other tokens as well on ERC20, whichever are there, to come to this blockchain also. So we already have SHIB, and then we saw that funny Pepe coin. What I can think of as like, yeah, quite a few other coins. I'm sure maybe in about 3 months' time. I'm guessing you may have a few hundreds of tokens which
No doubt.
already did come from Ethereum or Tron networks onto Bitcoin.
BRC20.
Yeah. So the only hurdle today to make it happen is technical. You just have to take a little extra efforts to make it work, and then if it works, it just works. That's it. It works forever.
Yeah,
So it'll happen.
true. I think on that note, guys, there's a piece of information for you all since you were talking about coins. So, Unocoin, your favorite crypto exchange, has listed two new crypto tokens, that is Flocky and Pepe Coin. Right now, you were talking about Pepe Coin, and you know how much hype Pepe has created in the past, I think, couple of weeks. So, if you want to explore this coin, go to our application or to the official website, and you can check out the latest listings.
Mhm.
Okay. So Sathvik, moving forward, next question we have from Okay, so there's another whole set of conversation going in our comment section itself where people are answering each other. Nice. I think this is a very good way to, create the community part when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto and of course Unocoin. So guys, continue nicely, no problem. Next question is, I saw a very interesting question. Yes, by Break Free. Sathvik, this is a very interesting question. I know you won't answer it, but I will still ask because the question is very interesting. So Break Free here is asking, how many bitcoins do you hold, Sathvik?
I don't think there'll be any person who will say, "Okay, I have enough." Right. So it depends upon the time when one entered the market and they recognized it. So, but whenever that happens, it's extremely unlikely anyone would go like all in. Right. So they only part away 3%, 5% of their wealth. And that's pretty much it. And then they see that, okay, over a period of time that will have some kind of returns and such. So, but however, I am more inclined towards um, making Bitcoin and cryptos more accessible to everyone in India. India comes or presents its own challenges. It's like every level it goes on, it keeps on getting tougher, right? So, but try as much to make sure that it's easily accessible for people and people are able to withdraw it and use it, right? So that's the entire idea that we have. So we continue with that particular service mentality. It's not about, okay, I have X amount of Bitcoin, then uh, okay, enough to retire in life or anything like that. So that is definitely not the path, and neither we have that much, right? But yeah, we come more from a service mentality that what we believe, and if people also believe in what we believe, then it should be easy for them to get access to whatever we want them to get access to. So that's the idea.
I'm sure this person didn't get the answer, but he was still very curiously listening to what all you were saying.
Sure.
Okay, so about how many bitcoins someone holds, I think it's a very confidential stuff. Even if it is, I think 0.000001 some satoshis. If even if you're holding, please do not reveal it to people. Also, do your own research.
And also, I was just doing some math, right? So there are like 21 million Bitcoin in total forever, right? So, and if there is 7 billion people, then if you just divide it to everyone
Not
equally,
everyone will hold it
no,
up.
everyone equally for argument's sake, right? So people will just get like 0.003. That is a small quantity that everyone, it's
And I'm
fair.
just imagining the value of my bitcoins.
Yeah, even if you hold, let's say 0.05, then you are literally holding about 15 people's worth of Bitcoin,
Oh, I
right?
need to spend more.
Yeah, or else spend now and repent later. It's all the part of it.
Yes. Interesting. So, guys, start doing your own research. I won't say go and buy Bitcoin because go and do your own research first. Before that, don't spend even a single penny of your money. Next, we have question from Anand Thakur again. He's asking, "What's your view on BRC20, which is on Dogecoin and Lightning Network on LTC?"
See, eventually we can have say hundreds of such native blockchains support these kinds of tokens. But I think it'll just come down to how many people adopt it, how many exchanges adopt it, and if people eventually use it, if you can create wallets on top of it, convince people that this is secure enough for people. And like, what is my incentive to believe in BRC20 and not ERC20? If there is a token that is there on both, I would equally be inclined towards to go to the ERC20, right? So why BRC or why TRC? There's so many things.
Yes.
So it is just becoming like because the protocol supports it, you do it.
Yes.
Right.
I think with blockchains, the cases is why a certain person would choose a certain blockchain is because mostly of the fees, if I'm not wrong.
They're not even that, and sometimes they see the fees. If you
Yes.
said fees, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, there's like one thing, but also because of the technical complications itself, a lot of exchanges and wallets don't support a lot of them.
Hmm.
So on Unocoin, I still think when you want to withdraw USDT, you have to do it on Ethereum network itself, ERC20 token. Maybe at most we may support TRC20.
Hmm.
And that could be like kind of. So it's unlikely we support 20 different protocols. And if you do that, then we will have our own challenges and headache. Let's say if too many people are withdrawing in TRC20 and we have ERC20, then we have to find a partner to convert that ERC20 into TRC20 tokens. So it all becomes, and for USDT it may be simple. There is somewhere where you can go and do it, right? So you can go Tether and do that. But if it is other coins and tokens, making it, I mean, we technically we want to make it easy, but the moment you make it easy, it comes with its own complications.
True.
For us to manage on our side. So we will usually be like more careful of that. So only support limited number of majorly used native blockchains is the entire idea. Yeah.
True. So that was the answer to your question, Anand. And now in the comment section, guys, you can see a few comments. The Okay, so that was a slight bit of disruption, but nothing to worry about. I was talking about the comments that you have just maybe you're able to see that are by Unocoin Crypto ka super app. There are a few links that you can use to download our app if you haven't yet, which I believe is not the case. But also you can join our Telegram. Also, you can join our Telegram group, guys, in which you can get daily updates around crypto. So do not miss the opportunity. Just click on the link. And also, these are safe links, so you don't need to worry. Okay. So, Sathvik, moving forward, when we talk about Bitcoin and the BRC20 token, we have heard the term ordinals a lot of time in this particular AMA itself. So, what are ordinals?
See, ordinals actually came first, not the BRC20 itself. It is just a upgradation or an amendment to the Bitcoin's blockchain, where you can designate each satoshis and track it over time. Right. So what do I mean by that is, let's say I have received 0.1 Bitcoin yesterday and another 0.1 Bitcoin today. So I have like 0.2 in total. And now I just send it to Mr. X, right? To him, it will just show as 0.2 Bitcoin. So it will not distinguish these two separately, right? And let's say in a specific transaction that I have got yesterday, if one of those Satoshis had an inscribed information, right? So then it can be tracked when it goes to the next particular person also. Because like I said, it is like an autograph on top of a currency note kind of thing. So this is what Ordinals protocol was about. It is to bring non-fungibility to Satoshis. Yeah, generally Satoshis are fungible. Using this mechanism, yeah, you can make it non-fungible. But now that got little exploited, maybe I should say, to create BRC20.
So, Sathvik, when we talk about BRC20, I'm sure a lot of people have this question, and it was there in my mind as well. What benefit does it offer to the Bitcoin blockchain?
I think it is just about a new thing like innovation, maybe to some extent, I guess. So, and whatever, see, let's say if I'm Bitcoin maximalist, and now for a reason I hate Ether, Ethereum, and its tokens and such. Now, if it comes to Bitcoin itself, I'll get excited to buy those tokens because it is on the same blockchain which I believed as a maximalist, I think. So, to some people, this will be appealing. And for some people, which think that at the end you just need Bitcoin, why do you even need this? Right? So, for them, this is just about more fees. So, yeah, people will see it differently.
True, and I think more so with BRC20, there's a beauty that if I don't know if it is a beauty, but in my eyes, it's a beauty. The fact that it is also keeping up with the current innovation, the Bitcoin blockchain, because as we see, even though it was the first one to the industry, a lot of things came. Ether came, it came and built its own new technological system, including smart contracts and stuff. But Bitcoin was somehow just a means of transaction and stuff. So I feel like this is a very good move to keep up with the innovation, even though a lot of people would disagree because they feel like, okay, we are just tampering with the original essence of Bitcoin. A lot of people
Maybe.
might say that, but yeah, that's again just an opinion, which is I feel is good. We have to keep up with innovation, and I think that's what people in the Bitcoin core team also felt.
Okay, let's see. Hope so. Hope it doesn't come more harm in any way, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So, Satvik, this whole network congestion thing happened a couple, I think it was last week when it happened. And I think some of the major exchanges had to pause the transaction a couple of
Hmm.
times in a very short
Short span,
span.
yeah.
So, what was the cause of such a congestion on the network?
Okay, so to my understanding, um, when it comes to BRC20, which is developed by using Ordinals protocol, every particular token have have should have some data which is inscribed data into it. So it looks like you cannot have, okay, these are like 10,000 satoshis, and for all of it is inscribed data. That is not possible. It looks like for every particular satoshi you have to need a separate inscribed, which actually means the amount of information that is required, but that is like needed to hold those tokens together for transactions was humongous. Because for everything, it is like, fine, you have 10 acres of land, fine, it's one transaction, done with it. And let's say now I have done million pieces out of it, like 10 by 10, every 10 by 10 feet, square feet is one thing, right? So now everything has its own registration numbers and blah, blah, blah. And if I now have to transfer, instead of giving 3 pages of one document, I have to give maybe 300 pages of documents, right? So the amount of information that was required to evaluate a specific transaction just increased humongously, because now every Satoshi has its own inscribed information on top of it. So this can actually make one particular transaction to go up to 4 MB, even though per Bitcoin's blockchain, one block is 1 MB, which is actually, after some compression and such things, yeah, but eventually every transaction will take a lot of space. So now, not that thousands of people have to transact to fill up the block, but this kind of transaction just few of them can fill up the block because it is too much of data already. And when it comes to too much of data, already whenever that happens, you will have to get that space in the next block or in the next few blocks. You are actually competing with other transactions already, and you will have to pay more fees to get that particular transaction put into the specific block.
Okay.
So when that happened, then think about normal people who are doing simple Bitcoin transactions. Okay, I'm sending you 0.1 Bitcoin or 0.7 Bitcoin. So now, because this was bigger transactions competing, and they actually were required to pay more because else they'll never get the space forever. And the normal people had to pay more fees to get their transaction on the same blockchain as well. So one is this created congestion and increased the fees, and that affected normal common people also.
Okay. So if I have to put it in layman's language in a funny way, that would be eating too much food that is beyond your capacity and then getting medicines to digest it. In a way,
Yeah,
making
you have
external
to.
expenses.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so that was a digestive issue for the
The blockchain, yeah,
Bitcoin
the blockchain.
network.
Sure.
Okay, so here we have another question from our friend Break Free, who's asking, why don't Unocoin plans to be decentralized like Trust Wallet or MetaMask, etc.?
Why does Bitcoin wallet?
Unocoin plans to be decentralized.
See, our business model itself is centralized exchange. So in the future, maybe we have a decentralized exchange through which we could help some transactions, especially using the tokens which are not listed, right? But that the making it completely decentralized and not being centralized is not our business model, right? So we are trying to cater to bigger audience who actually doesn't know anything much or maybe know a little bit, and they want as their first step. So when it comes to decentralized exchanges, people need to have quite some information, and maybe there needs to be a friend who could help them and say that, okay, fine, this is MetaMask, you click on this button, it's okay to trust it. So that's all like little advanced for a very common man, right? And if you see the percentage of people who are comfortable doing anything on the DEX as compared to people who are just with these centralized exchanges, and then compared to total number of people, right? So maybe just like couple of percentages might have used even centralized exchanges, central percentages, and within that number of people, the only a small percentage are comfortable using the decentralized wallets and exchanges. So there is definitely a lot of experience and learning curve and gap that exists, I think. So that eventually gets filled. And when we feel that, okay, now we have enough number of customers where the decentralized wallet or decentralized exchange does make sense, we definitely will launch it. The similar thing we did when it comes to exchange as well, right? So initially we were just a brokerage platform. So when there was enough queries around, okay, we want an exchange, right? So then we launched it maybe in about 6 months or so. But launching exchange technically was easy. It's not like super complicated, but just that after launching as well, because we are the first few that launched. Uh, there's a lot of learning curve for our users also, right? So even today, a lot of people just use our brokerage single buy button, no janjat. Don't worry about limit orders and try to read the charts. So that is all for a common man. It's little too much, and especially all he may want to do is he just want to invest some 3,000 rupees, right? So it is too much to ask for them.
True.
Yeah.
Agreed. So that was the question to your answer, Break Free. So maybe in future, if there's a lot of demand, like Sathvik said, we might think of.
I think there will be some time for it. There will be some time for it, I'm sure.
But I think, given the current scenario of things that is about in crypto, the current business model is the best suited for the kind of audience we
Yeah,
are
it's just
looking
easy,
to cater.
straightforward.
Yeah, it's pretty easy and available itself. Next question. Okay, Crypto Pe Charcha has a very interesting question again, but before that, I have a question.
Mhm.
So we are talking about BRC20 token, Sathvik. Are we planning to list them anytime soon?
So it's still very new in nature, right? So we do have plans, and if it is something that our customer wants, and if it continues to be appear genuine and utility and such, eventually may not be very very soon, but maybe in a few weeks or a few months, depending upon how the entire ecosystem around it grows, and uh, if all the tokens that are there already in other blockchain, so that it'll maybe we never need it also. So but we keep that option open. So when we see that it is time to do it, we will do that as well. So, but it will not be very far away. If it is time, we will know it very soon.
Yeah. So, guys, if you want BRC20 tokens listed on Unocoin, hit the thumbs up button and we'll get the message that you guys want it. And then, yeah, of course, Satvik will start with all the process of
Sure.
implementing things. So, yeah, hit the thumbs up button. Now I'll be taking Crypto Pe Charcha ka question. He's asking a question that we often get in our EMAs, which is, do you see crypto growing in India, and will India regulate crypto like we have SEBI for share market?
I definitely think so, right? So it cannot go on completely unregulated forever. So ours is the first exchange, and we are already 10 years old. So these 10 years without complete regulation, the industry has run, and it is well known to the regulators as well that it is no more like, okay, there is something called Bitcoin, but don't worry about it. It's not like that anymore. It's way too serious than that, right? So India doesn't look like in any way looking at the okay, we don't want Bitcoin or Ether or any other crypto in the country. It's not going in that direction. It's actually going quite positive. But however, we have a lot of loss of the land as well, and we don't want people to use crypto to dodge it, right? So now it's the duty of regulators to come up with proper set of rules and regulations eventually, maybe in next few quarters or next few years. So we exactly know what we can, what we cannot do while being in India, right? So a lot of these laws are not same in other countries, due to which those such kind of laws cannot be implemented at technical level. It has to be the local jurisdiction laws that people just are obligated to follow because they're being citizens.
True. And yeah, of course, we all are hoping that someday there's a regulatory framework that is working like SEBI for share market and something like that for crypto. And that would be just very nice to watch, because our governments will also understand at that point the potential of the technology that it kind of holds.
Yeah, sure.
So that's a very interesting thing about the whole thing. So that was the answer to your question, by the way, Crypto Pe Charcha. Now, Satvik, I'm sure a lot of audience who are currently watching us must be into the minting part of the whole scenario. And for someone like me, who's a complete non-techie, non-aware, unaware about all the stuff that goes around in the computer programming stuff, can we also mint tokens on BRC20?
It should be. I think it should be possible. There are. I don't remember the name of those wallets, some uni wallets and such. So, which does allow where they welcome people.
Unisat, I think.
Yeah. I think that's only
Unisat.
other sense. Yeah, correct. So where you can go and you have a particular section of the wallet, go there, and you can actually like see different tokens and contracts, and maybe go for the minting of those particular tokens, and you should be able to complete with like step by step wizard kind of procedure. But yeah, but I don't think creating completely your own token is also that easy. It will take its little bit of time to do it, but maybe in about 3 months it may be not that difficult, because you eventually have the templates of everything, which have the proper tutorials on YouTube. Just do this, press here, or write this contract, deploy this, make it as a script, put it in the Python, run it. So we'll eventually get that kind of easy way of doing it, I guess. But yeah, as of today, with some efforts, people already, even the one who is not fully tech savvy, are capable of minting these kinds of BRC tokens. I think so. Yeah.
I think that's very much interesting, because that's the dream of every non-techie person, to do something very techish and be like, oh,
It worked.
Yeah, it worked. Honestly, I mean, that would be great if one such thing is there. And yeah, let's just see what happens.
Sure. Okay.
So another thing, Sathvik, which was going in my mind is about the utility of this whole thing. Like if we talk about BRC20 as a whole, what is the utility that it serves?
It is just like any other token. See, it is the duty of the token to define the utility.
The
It is not
project
about the
blockchain.
blockchain. It is not about BRC20 standard or ordinal standard. Nothing like that, right? So, if you are launching something useful on it and that can be used for various things, then you can call it as the utility that can already be used for, right? So if that is not the case and you just want to experiment and then just keep spreading those tokens around just because there is hype around it, then you are launching it without utility, I guess. So what is its utility? Then it is the creator of the token who should define the utility, and the one who might have seen good utility in other chains may actually come to Bitcoin now to create these kinds of tokens because they don't want to be left out with it. This is like mother of all coins and tokens kind of thing. They don't want to be left out from Bitcoin, right? So it's scary.
Bitcoin is very interesting, and another thing, Satvik, when we saw this whole network congestion, we saw the fees going up, and it becoming a little difficult for people.
Mhm.
Like you said, people had to pay extra to get those information fed into the blogs and everything.
Mhm.
So, for these things, what are the possible measure that the blockchain is going to take or the network is going to take as a whole? Because fees is a bigger concern when it comes to transactions. That's why people go for different blockchains and networks. So, what possible things do you think they are going to what possible steps are they going to take to avoid this factor in future?
I don't think any such external steps can actually work here. I don't think so. I mean, literally, like the likelihood that something that can be done externally to reduce the fees as being a normal person who is doing the transactions in Bitcoin is little challenging. So initially we had this SegWit and such things which reduced the fees to some extent, and then some protocol upgrades and such. But it is all marginal reduction of fees and such. Or maybe we will need a completely layer one protocol, layer two protocol itself for handling these kinds of the BRC transactions so that the Bitcoin blockchain is left alone for doing its own whatever work is already there. That's also maybe a good idea, right? So now everyone want to stay updated, then everyone will upgrade, and everyone will, if one have a problem, everyone have a problem. So
True.
instead of that, it could be that maybe a good idea to have this BRC20. Anyway, it exists now. It gets to be separated now in the early days, and then people just move on to that particular layer and leave this for just doing normal transactions. Is better.
True. So, Satvik, we have another question in our comment section, which we'll quickly take before winding up for today.
Mhm.
That is from Sarvanan N. He's asking why should we prefer Unocoin when we compare to other websites? So
No, it
USDs.
is. I mean, if you're talking about other countries' websites, one thing you cannot do there is easily, send money to them and buy the crypto and such. So why Unocoin even exists is to help you get started with crypto journey, and if whenever you want to exit from it, be the facilitator for the same, right? So that is a kind of position that we take, and a lot of our customers who are either medium term or long term investors, right? So and we have our own mechanisms of how we want to handle our customer funds. We will safeguard it and protect it without taking the risks of external companies and investing into other projects or lending it out to others and such. So there are some very strict rules that we lay on ourselves. So, and we have been in business for 10 years. I think that will definitely mean a lot for people who understand. But 10 years in crypto is like 100 years normally, right?
Yes.
So I mean, we have our share of contribution that we have done, and there are people who especially um, are not looking at super tech savvy website to do 100 different things, and you do something without understanding and you lose the money. So we don't put our Unocoin in that particular light. So we are very careful what to allow our customers to do and what not to allow. And yeah, we have happy customers who were able to invest and earn quite a bit of money through our platform.
Yes. So for Sarvananan, I would like to add up a little to that. Why would you prefer Parle G over any other new biscuit? This is the same reason why you should prefer Unocoin over any other new exchange that has emerged, I think, a couple years ago, last year or something like that. Besides, if you check out our application, you'll find, if you are very new to crypto, you'll find that the part where we have light mode, where we have user friendly interface, that is something that helps you immensely in starting off with your crypto journey. And I think no other platform as such is going to provide you with such an assistance.
Yeah.
Besides, if you check online, you'll find out that our customer support is one of the most active customer supports that we'll come across, and they're super friendly. You have any queries, you just call them up and you eat their head, you chew their head off, and they're going to help you out even then. So that is not at all a problem. Besides, yeah, of course, you have your own laptop, internet, mobile phone, go do your own research, find out reasons why you should go for Unocoin
Yeah.
over any other platforms.
And also so many features that exist, right?
Yes.
So like systematic buying plan,
Systematic
helping
buying plan.
people to
Yeah.
average the cost, right? And even for people who think that, okay, we don't want to keep all the money on the exchange, you just want to withdraw it. So we have something called paper wallet that
Yes,
people can
paper
print.
wallet also.
People can print it, and then maybe even top up their mobile phones buying vouchers. So it's like so many little different things that people will be able
And
to
yeah, so many more coming in the months, in the following months, you'll be seeing so many new innovations. We
do. And
don't
even
know,
the
crypto is so innovative.
and crypto basket, that's
Yeah,
like
crypto
for new
basket.
people, they don't know what combination of
Yes.
money to where they want to invest and such, so they can utilize our crypto basket
Crypto
feature,
basket.
where we will help you allocate more funds into different baskets depending upon the risk profile you're looking
Yes.
for.
Yes, I think those are a few interesting features, but
But there are many.
my particular favorite is Shake and Earn. There you just go log into your app, you shake your phone, and you get some free crypto. And that's the most interesting part about Unocoin app, in my opinion, because yeah, you just go
Nice.
shake some money credited to your account. But of course, you need to make sure that you are constantly transacting in order to avoid, any sort of custodial fees that is charged, and that is also charged for a very good purpose before you think, okay, we are charging off some fees, which I think Sathvik will give a little quick overview about the custodial
Yeah,
fees.
so see, we as a company, and because we don't utilize the crypto of our customers to earn money through that, which we could only do by taking risk on top of it, which will never do that. So there is some cost associated for us to provide the custodial service, and a part of that we are passing on to our customers as well, right? So to just make sure that we'll keep that healthy and continue running. But the only way, the way that customers can avoid that fees is at least to do one transaction of buy or sell every single month. They could just simply, if
Set up
they, yeah,
SBP.
just like SBP for 10 rupees as well, they'll avoid it, right? So as long as there is, as long as we believe that you have your crypto for the sake of doing the transaction, then you actually will not get charged for it. Else, yeah, we will continue to provide our custodian services for you. It could be years or quarters or days or whatever it is. So, but there's a small fees associated with it, which helps us to pay the services and the mechanisms and security that we pay ourselves to safeguard your crypto and without exposing it to any other external threats.
Yes. So this is the benefit of custodial fees.
Okay.
Here we have Premasis Satman. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but he's saying, I got my first Bitcoin in Unocoin. Even I bought here first time. Same. Even I bought here first time. So
Sure. There's
yeah,
too many people who have got their
first
Bitcoin for the
Bitcoin.
first set of Bitcoins, whatever they wanted to do. So the cheapest Bitcoin we have actually sold for is like 11,000 rupees.
Oh.
Yeah, it was in 2015 early days, I guess. Yeah, I think so. So yeah, and the costliest we have sold is for 55 lakhs. So
Oh
we our customers who are there with us since beginning have seen that not 500%, it is 500 times the swing.
my
Yeah,
God.
but
And
now it is still like 25, 26 lakhs. It's not that less, but yeah, we have seen that it's grown with us. It's literally grown with us.
Yes, it has definitely grown with us. And Premises, thank you for being with us for so long. If you're still trading with Unocoin, if you're still using Unocoin, if not, please start doing it again, because we are coming up with new things every now and then. So it's, yeah, always, we always thank our customers for being there with us and being our constant support. On this note, Sathvik, I think it's time for us to wind up our today's session. Thank you everyone for your amazing comments, for your amazing internal conversations itself, because I saw so many conversations going on in our comment section. It was absolutely great to read them all. It was absolutely great to have you all here with us today. And of course, you, Sathvik, for such insightful knowledge on BRC20. So thank you everyone. Keep following Unocoin and stay tuned for our upcoming AMAs.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Shambhavi. Thank you.